Hello, welcome to the world of StarCraft 2. We have a game between Mouse Morrow and KiwiKaki. And did I read that correctly? Mouse Morrow. Hold on, I'm at 8x speed. I don't know why. What am I up to here? I'm up to some shenanigans. Scaring the bejesus out of me. Reading Mouse Morrow. Is that for real? Okay, Morrow is now playing Protoss. He's the famous Terran player who did win a tournament not too long back, the first IEM tournament ever to be played right when StarCraft 2 was being released. And KiwiKaki is, of course, the famous Australian Protoss. So this is Metalopolis, and we do have a good game coming to you. And when I read this description, I think it's actually Mana. It must be Mana, because in the description it said Mana versus KiwiKaki. So it's Mouse Mana. They're on the same team. I think Mana is using Morrow's account for some reason, and he's playing Protoss. Yeah, that makes more sense because Morrow switched to Zerg. He played in the recent Dreamhack tournament as Zerg. So it looks like the standard 9 pylon down for both players, and right next to the Nexus. And let's look at the APM because that's always fun. At the beginning of the game, looks like Mana has a whopping 400, averaging 320 versus KiwiKaki's 250. What that means in actual game terms, I don't really know. When you're just like spamming the keyboard as fast as you can, it doesn't particularly mean all that much, but it's still fun to look at nonetheless. I chose this game because if you did see the Dreamhack tournament, Mana did make it to the grand finals. I won't spoil the end of it though if you haven't seen it. He is in the grand finals against his teammate Mouse. Oh, it's coming to me. Mouse. I already forgot the guy's name. Mouse. He's on a mouse team. So anyway, he is a I don't know. Anyway, Mada's play, just being a Protoss player, I was really excited to see the way he played, and I am definitely a fan now. And okay, Mouse Nama, that's it. So it was Nama versus Mana in the grand finals, and we just have a standard cybernetics core, very standard, one gas, one simulator for both players right now. And KiwiKaki's little probe is going to be attacking this pylon. And it looks like in the base of KiwiKaki, yeah, he's just building pylons. And here is Mana's probe stealing some minerals there. So I love the way Mana played. It made me really excited, which is why I'm casting this game. So Mana, don't disappoint. Do bring us a great game. Looks like Morrow or Mana. His probe is just checking out what's going on. The Stalker is on the way and is rallied towards his probe. And then we do have a Stalker being Chronos boosted in the base of Mana, but KiwiKaki is deciding to run away to keep that probe alive and let it survive. But however, Mana is being very persistent with his probe in the base of KiwiKaki and will allow his probe to die. Might allow his probe to die, we shall see. Looks like the Stalker is going to be chasing down this probe and chasing the Stalker all the way across the map into the third on the map of Metalopolis, and the Stalker is going to destroy this probe at last. Yes, it does. It does. He gets another shot off. And now it looks like Mana is going to try and save his probe with his intercepting with a Stalker of his own, and this Stalker did get the first shot off, so it does have the advantage. Fortunately, the units in StarCraft 2 does do the same amount of damage each time, so it's not like 2 to 5 damage. It's an exact number. So a pylon here for KiwiKaki, a forward pylon here and here. So I like how he has 2 forward pylons instead of just 1, which is going to help him with his warp gate push. It looks like a 3 warp gate push. Possibly into an expansion. We are 5 minutes through the game, so this is around the time when you need to worry about 4 warp gate push, but it looks like Mana does know what is up. He sees the forward pylon and is building lots of Stalkers. Meanwhile, in his base, he does have a robo facility on the way, so we could see an Immortal coming very soon. Let's go into the production tab while this little battle is going on. It looks like KiwiKaki managed to get up the ramp. All probes coming out for Mana, and Mana is going to fend back KiwiKaki for the moment. A force field may go down. This sentry does not have enough energy, however, and these probes are not mining in their base, which is good for KiwiKaki, and KiwiKaki is going to be relentless in his aggression. 6 stalkers out, 1 Zella coming up the ramp, not enough energy to force field. Probes trying to get in the fray, taking some of the damage. More stalkers on the way for Mana, and it looks like Mana may fall to this. I don't even see an Immortal being built. Not making use of their Roblox facility. All of KiwiKaki stalkers now are being... I can't tell which are which. It looks like KiwiKaki stalkers are leading in the... they're winning. Their health is not even into the red, and it looks like Mana lost to this early 3. This was just a sort of a 3 warp gate pressure. It was not prepared for it. He did build a robo facility instead, and let's go into the APM. It looks like about 200 for both players. Units lost. You can see many more units lost for Mana, and that was game. I will take just a couple minutes now just to rewind and see exactly. It would be interesting to see exactly how he lost. Exactly like what point was the tipping point of when he lost. So you could stop watching this right now, or you can help me. You can hang out with me while we analyze this game a bit. Here is the probe of KiwiKaki. Let's pause it right now at 4 minutes and 15 seconds. The push does come in exactly 1 minute. Let's look at the unit station. It looks like we have 1 extra probe for Mana and the same amount of stalkers. So right now they're about even, and let's see at the point when it is no longer even and when KiwiKaki has the advantage, because you might think, I think to myself, well, they both kind of opened up the same, but it wasn't the same. I mean, how could such a great player like Mana lose to 3 warp gates in the beginning? So it wasn't even a 4 warp gate push. So here it looks like Mana has 2 stalkers. He's ahead in the probe count, or was for a second, and right now he's ahead in the stalker count. A little skirmish goes on here, but no units are lost for either player. And now here is where, if you go into the Mana cam, let's just stay in the Mana cam. His second gateway is on the way, actually. But meanwhile, all right, here's where I think the problem happened. In Mana's base, he has his robo facility was definitely late, because like he has 150 gas, not making use of it at the moment, and possibly it was late. Anyway, he has 1 gateway about a quarter of the way done. Meanwhile, KiwiKaki has 2 gateways, 3/4 of the way done. So right now, KiwiKaki, in about 10 or 15 seconds, he'll be able to make 3. He'll be able to make out of these 3 warp gates. His warp gate technology is done. Meanwhile, Mana's warp gate. Mana is ahead in the stalker count, but he's behind in the warp. Look at how his warp gates. Yeah, see that bar? That's 3/4 done. Meanwhile, in KiwiKaki's space, it is like right about to complete. So that means that KiwiKaki, having pylons, that he's ahead in the gateways and warp gates. So pretty soon we're going to see KiwiKaki's units count ascend quite rapidly compared to Mana. Oh, here comes the robo facility. So I think he was behind just a teeny bit, and plus his KiwiKaki did have a proxy pylon here. So let's look at the unit counting station. Now we have 5 stalkers versus 2, and these 5 stalkers are, at least 3 stalkers of the 5, the other ones are coming, are right at the base of Mana. So Mana was behind in the gateway count. His gateways couldn't... Oh, and this force field, if this sentry had been built like 5 seconds earlier, he would have been able to prevent these stalkers from coming up, and then he would have been able to safely macro a little bit better. And it looks like he doesn't have time. Mana does not have time to turn these gateways into warp gates because he needs to build out of them. No, actually, he does have time to do it, but it just delays it a little bit, because these 4 stalkers are wrecking havoc. The 2 stalkers that were in Mana's base did get destroyed. So yeah, so I think just taking a little bit of time helped me understand how a player like Mana, who made it to the finals and could have lost to KiwiKaki here. It looks like KiwiKaki, his game mechanics in this game, and the plan that he had of having 3 warp gates instead of 2 warp gates in a robo, he was able to get those warp gates up sooner and research warp gate technology sooner, and had a proxy pylon right outside of Mana's base, so was able to get units up in Mana's face much sooner. And yeah, Mana was just a little bit behind. So that's what it came down to. And, you know, on the professional level scheme, you know, you say like every little microsecond helps, because just because if this this sentry had been just a few seconds later, he could have blocked the stalkers up for at least another 13 to 15 seconds from coming up the ramp, which would have given Mana more time and possibly saved him the game. So that was it didn't look close at the outset, but I think it was a very, very close game between these two amazing players. And thanks to SC2 App for bringing us this game. Cheers. Have a good day.